The SunMine, the proposed sale of the SunMine is strictly about economics at the end of the day. The asset isn't going anywhere. Whether the city owns it or whether Teck owns it, it's still in the community for the community to be able to be very proud of and take advantage of. When Teck expand this to the second megawatt, which we're legally allowed within the contract to sell to BC Hydro, that expansion is going to be a PR opportunity for the city. Tech as well, but it's going to be a PR opportunity for the city. So there is no downside from an ownership point of view. There is downside on the city continuing to own the SunMine because at 1 megawatt, it has barely been break even for the first 3 years of operation when all of our maintenance costs have been under warranty and clearly will become a liability as we move forward and maintenance becomes a bigger issue. With $600,000 in revenue being generated, we've only been able to put away $35,000 into a reserve for future maintenance. And this is at the best of times. So very clearly, as we've discussed for the entire 3 years that this has been in operation, it is a break-even proposition at best at 1 megawatt. The city doesn't have $2 or $2.5 million to expand this to the second megawatt. Tech do. They have pockets that are deep enough to be able to do that. And quite frankly, expand beyond that should either the business case or reasons for doing that become positive for Tech and for the city. So for example, I've talked about a business park up on Jim Ogilvie Way being powered by power from the SunMine. That is a long-term vision that the folks at Tech, in fact, understand and have really bought into. So while it's just a vision at this stage, it presents an opportunity for us to go down a path with someone who has the financial capability of making that a reality. The city does not.
This is a big company, and it's all over the world. How will we be protected from them bringing in what I think of as dirty industry?
The SunMine is is what I think I could describe if you were asking, Tech that, they would describe it as a legacy community project for Tech. They are doing this more in Kimberley's interest than it is their own. Very clearly, they have both solar and renewable energy requirements for mines that they have around the world. And this will be an opportunity for them to be able to experiment a little bit with the types of technology that are being used to, put these solar farms together. So they will get benefit from it, but at the end of the day, the biggest benefit is to the city of Kimberley. So there is no expectation or desire on their part to deviate from that in any way that would see some other type of industry that would not be consistent with our community values end up here. We're very proud of the mining heritage, but it came from a day in time where it probably created as many negative things for the community as positive, quite frankly. But that's in the past, and it is part of the heritage that we want to remember because Kimberley wouldn't be here if it weren't for Cominco and subsequently Tech. So we're very proud of that. But I think I am also personally proud of the fact that senior management at Tech see Kimberley as a place that they still want to invest in something that is in the best interest of our community.
And they still own a lot of land here.
And they still own in the neighborhood of 15 to 20% of the footprint of Kimberley, all of which is brownfield, and all of which we need Tech's participation and commitment in turning from brownfield into something that is a whole lot more productive. But that's another story beyond the SunMine, and one that I'm looking forward to making progress on here in the not too distant future.
Under the agreement, is Tech obligated to expand the SunMine, or is that at their option?
Yeah, not under the specific terms of the agreement, but the circumstances are such that it would be in their best interest to do that. They don't want to lose money from an operating point of view any more than the city of Kimberley did. In order to not make that happen, they need to expand to the second megawatt.
And a technical economic question: what's the spread? And I know it's a complicated question, but roughly the spread between what hydro pays for the electricity and what they sell it back to us for?
Well, they are paying an average. It is complicated because there's so many different rates,
Right.
but we are paying an average of 11 cents a kilowatt hour. I'm unclear as to what we're actually paying for BC Hydro, but the city is getting an
We're
average
getting
of
11
cents a
cents.
kilowatt hour.
And then retail, what the government pays is a different animal. Presumably it's more, and we'll get back to you with
Yeah. So
how much that is.
So the one thing the government did way back in 2008 or 9, as this industry was emerging, is they made a decision not to go with the tariffs, with the trade-in tariffs. That basically meant that you would receive, they would pay more money for solar power or wind power, the alternatives, than what they're paying for hydroelectric power. Ontario did this. In fact, they were paying orders of magnitude more for their solar generated power. And in the long run, it has not been in the best interest of the ratepayers, or the folks that are actually paying for the electricity. So it's been a good thing that the industry wasn't subsidized with those trade-in tariffs, but it's also meant that the industry has been much slower to develop. So we're all on even footing right now. The cost of solar power has gone down considerably in the last decade and will continue to fall. And as that happens, it will become more and more competitive with the hydroelectric power that we generate here in BC.
So this is very much a learning experience for everybody on an ongoing basis.
Absolutely, and therein lies the benefit. And by us having the financial liability lie with tech, the city is able to get all of the benefits of being a progressive community, having started this, and in fact getting it expanded to the 2 megawatts and beyond without having that financial liability. So at the end of the day, this is an incredibly good deal for the city of Kimberley. We get to keep the asset. We have no financial liability associated with it. And we have a partner who has pockets deep enough to be able to expand this incredible resource as demand for that type of power goes up. So at the end of the day, it's really a win for everybody involved.